turn our attention back now to international affairs and politics, particularly. Mark Watson's with me. He's National Security Advisor at Bondi Partners with Joe Hockey. Mark, thanks as always. Let's look to, first of all, Donald Trump. Reports this week that he's going to not only not attend the Biden inauguration, he's going to take Air Force One to Florida and give a rival speech.
Yeah, up until this point, it would have been unimaginable that an outgoing president would not attend an inauguration ceremony for his successor. Right now, it is entirely believable that that is what he could do. He's been the great disruptor. That was the platform he essentially rode into Washington, D.C. on, was disrupting politics as usual. This would just be the latest instalment in that track record. I still hope that there are people who will talk to him and say it's really critical for the country as a whole to see that orderly transition of power on Inauguration Day.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's listening though at the moment, does it? And with the Georgia runoffs, this basically is the election done over in Georgia. How important is this for the Biden administration to get a couple of wins there?
Again, who would have thought that Georgia would be so emblematic of what's happened in this whole election period? But there's been 2 recounts. They've both reconfirmed Joe Biden as the winner in Georgia and will collect the Electoral College votes from Georgia. But there's also these 2 Senate runoff races because neither candidate or none of the candidates achieved the 50% necessary. They now just have a Democrats v Republicans runoff at 2 Senate seats. They are extraordinarily important in this election. Right now, the Republicans have 50 seats in the Senate. If they win one of these 2 races in Georgia, that means they will control the Senate. If, on the other hand, the Democrats win 1 or possibly 2, then that will change the complexion completely. Two wins, unlikely but possible, would mean that there'd be a 50-50 split, and that in turn would mean that any vote in the Senate would be decided by Kamala Harris's vote as the presiding officer in the Senate.
Which has huge implications for the Democratic and Biden agenda, doesn't it, in terms of getting it through, court nominations, judicial appointments, that sort of thing as well.
It absolutely does. And like everything, there's an upside and a downside for a Biden administration. The upside, as you say quite rightly, is it opens up the way for the Senate to confirm a lot more of the things that Joe Biden wants to do. On the other hand, I think it will embolden the left wing of the Democrat Party to demand more of a Biden-Harris administration, because if they control the House of Representatives, the Senate and the White House, they'll be saying now's the time to really launch a progressive agenda in America, remembering that the next elections are only 2 years away.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it, the midterms? And so with this election in Georgia, that's coming just after New Year's as well. It's a time of the festive season. People are going to be tired of politics too, you would imagine, after so many months of the presidential race. Turnout is key once again with this Senate runoff.
It is, and it's even more confused now because some of the pro-Trump supporters are advocating a boycott of the election because they say the elections have been rigged, therefore what's the point of voting? So you could actually have a bizarre circumstance where Trump's own supporters could really damage the Republicans' prospects in this Senate runoff race.
Yeah, that would be a bizarre turn of events in a weird year. Now, China, we think that, well, every time we think that things might cool down, there's another tariff, another product blocked. So this time it's another beef exporter, the 6th exporter to be affected by the trade retaliation from China.
It is just another slap in the face for Australia. Each one of them's different. There's tariffs on our wine. The beef is a unique kind of event in its own way, looking at particular producers and blocking the coal shipments, but it all adds up to an impasse, and it's going to be well into 2021, I think, before we see any movement on that.
And a cooling, is it just a matter of time like we've seen in other places like Korea?
Yeah, the Australian government, through all the agencies that it has, both in the public diplomacy space and in the more below the radar work that people do, will be trying to find that touch point in the Chinese government to commence a dialogue. Right now, it is by no means clear where that lies.
Very unclear as we conclude this year, which has thrown up so many surprises. Mark Watson, thank you as always, appreciate it. National Security Advisor at Bondi Partners, Mark Watson.